Hello students, at the outset let me express my happiness as well as I take it as my good fortune that I am able to connect with you with yet another class. I said this because in the present situation where the pandemic is spreading like a wildfire, wreaking havoc in the lives of people, every opportunity, every new day that we get should indeed be considered as a blessing. And before I start with the class, let me tell you one more thing. On a personal note, I have always felt that as teachers, even if we are physically or mentally, emotionally disturbed, the moment a teacher connects with their students, they become as fit as a fiddle. The past couple of days I have not been keeping well, but now even though I am looking into the camera and talking, your physical presence can be so vividly felt as I feel in every class, in every online class, whether it is Akhila from English optional or Radhira of mathematics optional or Aishwarya from natural science, Sharanya from physical science or Sri Lakshmi from social science. Each one of you becomes physically so alive even in this virtual platform. So that is the magic that can be claimed only by this profession, teaching profession. So whatever discomfort as a teacher we experience, the moment you connect with your audience, you become as fit as a fiddle. So on this happy note, let us today discuss on yet another socially very relevant area that we are in fact experiencing around us, that is adolescent issues and their management. And the term adolescence is not something new to us. We have already seen the different developmental stages starting right from infancy till adolescence. Each developmental stage has got their own speciality, and adolescent stage happens to be especially a crucial stage. It happens to be a transition stage from childhood to adulthood. Adolescence is a transition from childhood to adulthood. And this stage has got a special significance. The adolescent stage is a stage of special significance because there are certain special developmental needs of this stage. Whether it is physical development or social or emotional, the individual reaches or the individual undergoes the height of all these developmental aspects during adolescence. Physical development, both boys and girls starts developing masculine and feminine characteristics. There takes place an interest between the opposite sex, which is again quite a natural phase of growing up. But if these attraction or if these physical changes or emotional changes or social characteristics, if they are not channelized properly, it may lead them to unhealthy relationship which may cause barriers in their later life. So that is why this stage becomes very crucial. And not only that, an adolescent living in the present day society undergoes various issues, various problems. And as teachers, it is our prime responsibility to train them so as to be on the lookout for these problems and how to move away from these problems and move successfully on to the next stage of adulthood. So if that is to be done, as teachers we need to be aware what are the common issues or problems that an adolescent is likely to encounter in the society. And how can we protect them? How can we equip them to walk away from the same or to face them boldly and come out of it unharmed? So there lies the significance of the topic, adolescent issues and their management. So in this class, I would like to give you just a brief introduction into what exactly we mean by these issues, adolescent issues, and what can be done to manage them. And in the coming class, we would take up some of the most felt issues of the adolescent period and see as teachers how can we identify such children in our classrooms and what can be done in our capacity as teachers to help them overcome these problems. So as we have already seen, adolescent is a transition phase of growing up, and it is a period where the developmental stage, developmental aspects, whether physical, social, emotional or intellectual, all these are at their heightened peak. So this stage, as we said, there are certain issues or problems that an adolescent undergoes. And some of the basic issues that an adolescent undergoes during this period can be summed up like these. It can be issues related to mental problems, or it can be issues related to illness, childhood illness. So these childhood illness may sometimes get carried over to the adolescent period, or it can be the substance abuse, or it can be problems related to sexual harassment, or it can be the impact of media, the wrong portrayal by media. All these are some of the adolescent issues. Or it can be tendency, suicidal tendency, depression among adolescents, problems that an adolescent may face in school, problems that the adolescent may face in their relationship with peers, problems of adjustment, problems that they may face at the family front, family issues, family discord. All these may hinder the life of an adolescent. So these issues, as teachers, we need to address them and find out what can be done to overcome these problems. So see, we are discussing about adolescent issues, and imagine we might have come across a piece of news in today's newspaper. The state of Kerala, God's own country, has once again retained its position as the most literate state in the country, with the literacy rate at 96.2%, a matter of pride indeed for every Keralite. But at the same time, what we should keep in mind is that when we talk about this literacy rate, we can never be really proud of it unless and until this literacy rate gets reflected in our actions, in our way of living. As long as the society that we live in get plagued and disturbed by these so-called issues, so we have just here pointed out only a bird's eye view of the problems, especially that the adolescent community is facing. Unless and until these problems gets wiped out, unless and until every individual living in such an educated society know how to interact and behave with each other like a civilized human being, we can never take real pride in being a resident of a state which boasts of maximum literacy. So while I was reading this piece of news in today's newspaper, it had evoked mixed feelings in me. Are we really worthy of being designated as the most literate state? On one side, the atrocities, the violence that is being meted out is on the rise. And on the other hand, we have been able to retain our position as the most literate state. It sounds so paradoxical. So, and one more thing here, we have been talking about the adolescent issues. When we talk about adolescent issues, we should keep in mind, as per statistical records, India is the only country in the world which boasts of or which claim such a large adolescent population, expanding up to 253 million is the adolescent population, which is the largest adolescent population in the world. And if this adolescent population is properly brought up, taken care of, healthy, educated, and properly equipped with the life skills, then this population is going to be an advantage for India socially, economically, and politically. If not, they are going to be just passive beneficiaries. This 253 million adolescent community is going to be just passive beneficiaries, not active contributors. So it is in our hands whether we want this largest adolescent community in our country to be active contributors or just mere passive beneficiaries. And this adolescent community is the one whom we designate as generation tomorrow, the leaders of tomorrow, the change agents of tomorrow. So keeping in mind these reality that we face in the society, we should decide the urgency. As teachers, we play a prime role, the urgency with which we have to act upon. One fine morning, I do agree that it is not possible to wipe out all these problems existing in the society. But in due course of time, we can make our children equipped, strong, and bold enough to face these challenges that they are surely going to encounter in the society. So that is what this topic is all about. So what are the common adolescent issues or problems that we encounter in our society, and what is the solution? How can we overcome? So the basic solution is a healthy partnership between family, school, and community. So a healthy solution for these existing problems faced or that is plaguing the adolescent community is a healthy handshake, a healthy partnership between family, school, and community. So our next concern is how can this healthy partnership be ensured in classrooms? What is the role that we teachers play in ensuring such a healthy handshake? So that is the next aspect that we have to go through. So we have already seen there exist various issues and problems that affect the adolescent, and the next aspect that we discussed was what is the solution. There should be a close-knit bonding between home, school, and community. Next, what we are going to see is how can this bonding, how to establish this bonding between family, school, and community. First of all, the basic primary agent which sow the seeds of behavior in a child happens to be family. So a conducive family environment, a conducive, a favorable family environment is the prime necessity, because everything starts from here. Everything begins from here. So what the school contributes is, on the foundation that the family lays, schools adds upon it. So the foundation, if it is strong enough, upon this foundation, the school can build a still stronger individual. And for that, the family, conducive family environment means right from a very young age, the family should make their standards, their values, the value systems very, very clear to the child. And it is with these value systems that the child grows up in their later life. So that role is entrusted upon the parents. Make the child a strong individual with a strong value system. And the next important factor is, see, integrate, identify the resources from the community, resources of the community. Identify the resources of the community. Integrate the resources and services of the community with whom? With the activities of the school, so that it can stimulate and complement the activities of the school programs. So integrate it with the school programs. So identify, integrate the resources, the services of the community with those of the school programs. so that these resources of the community will further strengthen, act as a complement to the school services, school programs. So there should be a link between the community and the school, because in the process of education, it is not the school or the teachers alone who play the role of a stakeholder. The parents, the community, the services of the community, the resources of the community, all these has to be put together. The political system, the social system, the cultural setup of the society, all of them play an important role in making the education system complete. So that is yet another way in which we can bring about a bonding between family, school and community. We are discussing on how we can bring about a proper handshake, a bonding between school, family and community, so as to equip the adolescents to face these adolescent issues. So the second aspect is integrating services of community with those of the school programs. Then next, another important aspect is self-discipline. Self-discipline. Very, very important. Now, the present new economic policy 2020 emphasizes on early childhood care and education. They have put forward innumerable provision for early childhood care and education. It is very, very important, because what is sown in the mind of a child during these early stages of growing has got an everlasting impact. Likewise, discipline. One fine morning, if you suddenly realize that your child, in your capacity as a parent or as a teacher, you realize that your child has to be brought up well disciplined. It may not work wonders, your effort may not work wonders. It has to start from the beginning. And that seeds of discipline, it should not be mere discipline, it should be self-discipline. It should become a habit in the child. Because it is not possible for an individual to another individual to make a child disciplined. It may have an impact, but it is only superficial. I can tell my students, all these classes that we have been having, we may not be getting an opportunity to discuss again. So you better integrate all the material, be prepared for the exams. So that is one way in which I can discipline you. But the self-discipline is very, very important. Then that self-discipline, both parents as well as teachers do play a very important role in self-discipline. Then next one is setting up of realistic goals. That again is very important. Otherwise you leave the child frustrated, and a frustrated child is more prone to be a prey to these issues. So realistic goals, realistic goals. Don't set goals for children. As we have already discussed many a times, goal setting should be the task of the child himself or herself, but as a parent, as a teacher, we should provide him with assistance so that the child is able to set a goal according to their potential. Then yet another is career options. Career options. Make the child aware of the plenty of career options available to him or her. Make them choose one according to their aptitude and attitude, so that they do not become just a burden to the society. So whatever is their potential, according to their aptitude, they should, or their attitude or interest, they should choose the different career options. There are plenty of options available, and it becomes the task of a career counselor or an efficient teacher to make this world of career open to the child. Then role models. This is again a cliched fact. We have always, time immemorial, we have been saying, as teachers, as a parent, we should set up adaptive models before our children. So whatever may be, whether 20th century or 21st century or centuries to come, being a role model suitable for the children to emulate is always one way, one positive way in which we can prevent the children from falling a prey to these issues. Then again, awareness programs. Awareness programs. Constant, at regular intervals, awareness programs, so that children should be aware of what are the ills of the society, what are the social evils of the society, and how they can protect themselves from being a prey to these social evils. Then counseling. a good counselor and a good counseling program should be an indispensable part of every school setting, counseling and counselor. Because very often children, especially at this stage, they find it very difficult to open up. At times they keep up all their problems deep within them, and at certain point of time this anxiety builds up within them and develops in them suicidal tendency, depression, makes their energy channelized in illegal, unwanted behavior. That is again another issue, illegal behavior. So, in the hands of a good counselor and with effective counseling program, this problem can be erased to a great extent. And once again repeating, as a basis of all this, it is always a good family bonding that will help the child to surpass these issues and problems that they face in life. So this will help to turn up the adolescent community into real productive resources for the nation. Okay, thank you.